What's up, everybody? Get this on here. So here we are back with our face, woman's face. And hopefully you guys have caught up to me by now and have reached this point. Obviously, we still have our cutouts ready and available from the previous session. Let me get this ready here. So I had kind of moved them aside, but we have our cutouts of our face, right, that we made. Mainly importantly is this one, because we're going to need that one, and the one for the mouth. And we got our shields, right? We're going to need our shields. Put that there, and I think that's about it. And I have the universal flesh tone loaded up and the white loaded up, which is, I believe, where we were at last time. And yeah, so as always, if you're new to the channel, if you're new to the videos, this image is available down below. Obviously, for this particular video, you're going to want to go back and watch part 1 to get to this point. And then you watch part 1, you get all the way through that, you can make it to here, and this is part 2. As always, and I just want to mention all the links down below the video, right? So depending, I guess on your phone, depending on where you're watching or whatever, but if you scroll up down below the video, there's going to be links where you'll find the link to this one. So just kind of want to give you guys a heads up that we have partnered up with Spray Gunner. So you might have noticed the new banner during the intro there for Spray Gunner. And so they have partnered with us to get you guys better deals and stuff, because going through Amazon does raise the prices a little bit. So they were kind enough to partner with us to kind of get you guys to go over and order from them, where they could offer you a better deal and stuff, and also help the channel by using those links. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys go down there. If you know you want to order some stuff, go down there, just click those links, use those links to order it. And yeah, I'd really appreciate it. As also, if you need some stencils, you could go down there to the website mikesbrush.com. Like you see it over here on the right hand side. You'll also see it down below. And those are the stencils that I make and sell, and I use that money to kind of push the channel forward and kind of get better equipment and so on and so forth. Big shout out to Createx, right? So we always use Createx paints around here. They also help sponsor the channel and help bring you guys better videos. So big shout out to them for continuing to help the channel out. But yeah, anyway, now that we got all the intro pleasantries done, I hope everybody's having a good day. And here we're going to get started with part 2. So last time we left off, we were just kind of laying in the undertone for the skin over here. So if I zoom you out, right, we were kind of just laying in all this undertone here. We had kind of already done some detail for the pores kind of going around, right? And we had done that all with the universal flesh tone. So we're going to kind of finish that up first, right? We're going to go back in this area where we had kind of laid in our undertone here. We're going to go back and do some of that detail. So I'm going to bring up the picture up on my phone again. And then we'll get started. I need to also go in the settings and switch the settings to allow the display to stay on a little longer. Like I mentioned in the first video, using phone is a great way to actually look and get closer onto the image you're working on, so you're able to bring it up, right? You're able to zoom in. Right? You really zoom in on this picture because it's I made sure to make it just find a really good quality picture, because finding a super good quality picture. So if you really wanted to do this picture and get down to every wrinkle and crevice and stuff in her skin, you really could. I'm kind of just, doing it, halfway zoomed and just kind of giving us a good impression, right? I don't want to go, match this. I don't really know this person, or I don't believe it's anybody, famous or anything like that. So I just kind of want to give the impression and give ourselves a nice piece of artwork using this picture. Obviously, she also has like some freckles and stuff. And while I do want to include some of that freckling, maybe not so much. And, maybe some of the blemishes off to the side of her face over here. If you really get in close again, you can really see some blemishes. She has like a pimple going on here, and yeah, her face actually looks kind of dirty from the makeup if you zoom in close. So we're not going to do all that too much, but I am going to use it again a little bit zoomed out, just to give ourselves a good impression. But like I said, all I'm going to do is use the universal flesh tone, and just like we were doing when we left off last time, I already have it mixed up. I'm just going to give it a shake just so we can make sure it's nice and stirred up. And we're going to go ahead and just start with the stippling again. Let me get you guys in where I'm going to be working here. So I'm going to start here kind of around the mouth. And actually, let me put this shield back on before I get too far ahead of myself. Let's cover up those lips back up, just to give us a little bit of a coverage from the overspray. So using the universal flesh tone, and even though we've kind of shaded it in, you can go back, and if you start getting in with some nice little fine lines and dots there, you're able to build up some shadows right over the same color. It's not really going to stop you unless you did it really, really heavy, right? If in some areas where you did it really heavy, like here, right, I'm not able to do that stippling. It just kind of vanishes because you're just laying the same color over. So we're not trying to do that. Yeah. So just working my way around, kind of looking at the picture again. If you could zoom in and just look at the picture closely, you'll see that, there's little shadows getting close. And the texture on the skin, again, it's really easy to do just by stippling. Right, just pull back on that trigger. If you see me kind of like, here, if I could show you on my finger. Right, so all I'm doing is this. I'm just pulsing my finger kind of back and forth like this. You see that? Just barely. And that's what we get, that little texture kind of going there. So, just so you guys get an idea of how I'm creating that. And that's just really small texture right up in there. And I really feel like adding all that skin texture really makes the painting really take on a whole new look. So, gonna work around the cheek here, around her nose. Connect the nose all the way over here out. And we're still using just that universal flesh tone. So how's everybody's week going? Everybody doing good? I hope everybody's having a great week. The weather has been horrible here. It's just been cold and snowy. And then you just feel like it's going to be sunny, and then it's like, nope, more cold, more snow. And it was just like, oh man. So we've been having to have the heaters going, and yep. Snow has a way of slowing everything down, especially when it comes to paint. That's just quite unfortunate the way it is. I do wish I would live somewhere warm like Florida or California or Arizona or something, where it's always nice. I don't know about Arizona. I don't know about Arizona. I'll take it back because it's hot during the summer. It's nice during the winter, but it's definitely hot during the summer. What up, Justice? How's it going, man? So let's see here. Trying to get it so you could actually see what I'm doing. There you go. We're so zoomed in. It's like it's really hard to like. I have to control the camera backwards and then also the zoom and the focus. There you go. How's it going, Justice? How you been, man? Now, if you do that same little pulsing right that I was talking about, and you kind of wiggle jiggle from side to side as you do it, you'll kind of get that same, just like little skin creases. So this whole exercise really is a exercise on creating skin. And if you really zoom in on the picture, you'll see how the skin is actually different in different parts of the face. So like here underneath the eyes, if you'll notice, there's not as many like pores. And again, and this is for this person. For the next person, it's probably different. So I always ask customers when they bring me a picture that they want, like their loved one and stuff, I always, I know this is hard, but if you can find me the best quality picture, it'll give you the best quality result, because I'm able to really get some details and really make it look like that person with those little unique things that make everybody different. 9 times out of 10 though, the customers don't. The picture's pretty bad quality, you know, and that's just the picture they have, and they want you to do your best. So I'm just kind of working my way around. You see I did all that texture there, and I'm just quickly working my way over here to the eye. And I'm just kind of using that universal flesh tone to make sure kind of the whole face has that same tone. And then we're going to go back in and we're going to use the detail flesh tone to really start getting in some more of that other detail. So we're not going to worry too much about the eyebrow just yet, but we are going to hit it here in a sec. And I'll show you guys just how to do that. Now you'll see me here, I'm hitting past that shadow point, right? So we have that shadow line that we made, and you'll see me laying these little like wrinkles in there. If you look closely on the picture, you can see those. I'm just kind of, you know, also trying to, what was it called? Kind of blend in this shadow tone and make it look a little bit more natural. And once we come back in with our white highlights, put some little white highlights in there. Kablam! It's gonna look good. You're slowly getting in some practice. Nice, nice. Practice is always good. Alright, so then we move on to the bridge between the eyes. We kind of already done this whole side over here, so we're just kind of doing this little bridge right here. And we can really just start to focus in areas. And I don't know if I think I mentioned this the first time, but if you want to make yourself a little cutout, and that way you can just focus in on that little area, and you don't focus your eyes all the way around. Something I used to do a lot just so that you could actually keep your eyes and your hand focused in one particular spot. And I used to just move that around like a little square. And that way I would, whatever I was painting here, whatever was on my phone, the little square, I would just kind of put that little square here and just move it around as I was painting. And I kind of use it as a grid, but also as a way of just focusing in on just certain spots. Sweet. And then let's just finish up the bottom of the mouth over here. So let's see here. So all this area down here, right? We got that undertone, we got the little shadow tone, but now we got to lay in the little texture for the skin, right? So again, just coming off the lips, starting here. And I like to start at a good focal point, right? So you can see here the crease of the lips on the paper and the crease of the lips on the image line up pretty good. So it gives me a good idea of where to start and laying in the little pores and the little texture that we want to kind of have in here. And I just kind of like having these skin tones, right? So these, again, it's the universal skin tone and the detail skin tone from Createx that make it really easy. I used to really mix up my own colors, and it's hard, right? So it's kind of hard to always get a nice consistent color when you're mixing them up by yourself. And if you're not so good with mixing colors, it could really be hard, because then you're just kind of guessing, I guess, at that point. But even me, I'm pretty good at mixing up colors. It can be hard sometimes to get an exact match. So having it already set and you just kind of have to get the color makes it easy. No special mixing required or anything like that. Just reduce it to what you like. And I believe here we're using about 5:1 paint to reducer. Maybe a little bit more, maybe 3:1 reducer. 3 parts paint to 1 part reducer, just to give us a good flow of paint. And this is the wicked line. So yeah, they already in the bottle pre-mixed. You don't have to do anything. You just get them, spray them, and they match up pretty good, especially shading and stuff. You know how people's faces are. And you can see it's already kind of really nice. I'm just kind of filling in her chin here. See all those little pores. Now, I'm just going to go through with the 2 colors, and then we're going to use a little bit of black. Again, if you really wanted to, you could actually mix in maybe a little bit of dark brown or maybe some gray inside one of these colors, like say maybe the universal flesh tone like this one, or the detail flesh tone. You can mix in a little bit of transparent gray, transparent, brown, like light brown or dark brown, to really tone it out and even go deeper into the skin. Maybe do 3 tones, for the shadows or something like that. I'm not going to go that heavy into this painting. I'm just going to do the 2 tones. A, because that's what I have, and 2, I want you guys to be able to, get a good idea. And by the time you're done doing this painting with all this little stippling and stuff, your finger is going to be like, wow. You're going to The next thing you paint, you're just gonna feel like, wow, I feel so liberated. My finger has never been so ready. um, so just getting all them little dots like this in there. It sounds easy enough, but getting them all in there without messing anything up. It's really an exercise in A, patience, and 2, control. So good luck to you guys. Yeah, it really does make it a lot easier. You know my struggles. You know the having to mix it and stuff. Especially in the past, there was no universal flesh tones or any kind of colors like that. In the past, it's been pretty cut and dry. Sand, peach, light brown, dark brown. Work your way around. Now though, you really do have options, and it's nice to see. Nice to have, nice to see, and also a good way of helping new people to maintain, achieve results and maintain consistency, as well as for somebody like me, right? Like, I've been airbrushing forever. Having consistent colors, so that I could always rely on that, it always helps. It's always nice. Okay, I think we got most of the face in there. I'm gonna zoom out real quick. And so now all I'm going to do is kind of blend some of those in. So I'm just going to kind of go in, lightly shade those in. Now we're not going to lay no crazy tones in here. We're just going to kind of blend it in. Maybe soften them up a little bit, right? And this also makes, when we lay our white highlights, having a really nice undertone and overtone and stuff really makes the white highlights pop. Going all the way around. Cool. So I believe we are ready for the detail flesh tone. 0073 detail flesh tone is what we're using here. Now we're also going to use this as the basis for the brown in the eyes. So, yeah. And I'm just making sure to shake this up real good before I start spraying it in. Take one of these other airbrushes and load some up. And do about 3-to-1 mix again. Get it to flow pretty good. And shake it up. Shake it, shake it, shake it up. Shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it, shake it. Cool. So once we have that all shaken up a little bit, it's pretty good. So I'm going to start with this, right? And we're going to start kind of here with this nose. So we kind of laid in our mud color. Remember, we had that mud color going this last time. Now we're just going to kind of smooth that out with a little bit of this detail flesh tone. So we're going to lay that right into place, starting with our nostrils, right? And we're just going to kind of shade in off the side here. Not too much, but we kind of want to dull out that black a little bit. We kind of want to leave it in there, but dull it out a little bit. And then on the sides, You kind of want the detail flesh tone to take over the edge there. Just real quick, nothing too crazy. But you can see it'll make the indentation here of the nose a lot more pronounced, as well as kind of clear this up and start making it look a little bit more deep. And once we lay our black edge, that final black edge, it's going to really give it that, you know, darken their look. Now, using the detail flesh tone, at first you're going to feel like there's not much of a difference between the colors, but there's a lot. There's a really big difference between these two colors. And so when you're layering it in, I need to turn down the air pressure 1 sec. So working this close, I'd recommend about 20 psi, something nice and smooth. And then just slowly go in there and start layering it in. Nothing too crazy. Again, all I'm doing is looking down here, looking at the phone, looking back up, going back. Now, if you look at the picture closely, you'll notice that it's not just shaded in color. It's actually the texture that's kind of shaded in, right? So that's all I'm doing, is kind of just trying to add some of that I see going around. Then we're gonna, once we switch over to the black, we could thin it out at the end and kind of lay some nice shadows over some of these areas if we feel we need to. You'll notice that the detail flesh tone is kind of a little bit more reddish, a little bit darker, but they blend in real good together. So especially for building up nice shadows and tones on the face, I've really found them useful and like just easy to work with. Bam. See, just kind of shade it in a little bit, shade that around, just kind of working our way around. See, if you look closely at the nose, the nostril just kind of have a shadow here that kind of comes out from the nose and goes around, and then it's just built up with pores, right? All these little tiny little, and that's all we're doing, is just kind of working our way around. And like I said, this particular exercise for somebody more advanced. So, you know, if you've been airbrushing for a while and you just kind of want a challenge, that's what this particular video set is for. I really would not recommend this for a beginner, because you kind of already have to know how to use your airbrush and how to produce really good lines. But there's nothing saying you can't, right? So like a little bit of practice, you get good at controlling your airbrush, and you come back and you try this exercise. Don't get discouraged. That's all I'm doing. It's just a little detail at a time. I'm going to kind of go over to this side of the nostril over here. Right, and I have it so zoomed in on this, like on this side. Right, and I'm looking just in her nostril right now. Just kind of work my way around using this detail flesh tone. Nothing too crazy at this point. And that's kind of the way I would work this portrait. So it's like the most important part is really getting that first layer, the stenciling in there, and then, you know, making sure you kind of stay focused on your reference on the phone, right? Look back and kind of really take a look at what's happening there and just try to reproduce it. Little strokes, little stippling, and you're well on your way. And she has lots of freckles here, so might as well just kind of also, people's skin always has like a really fine fuzz, even when they look like they're completely hairless. That's something I've always noticed, is people just have a really fine fuzz. The fuzz. I noticed the fuzz. To make sure I get this lip. That's good. Let's see. So let's move down here. Cool. And yeah, with the detail flesh tone, you're going to kind of be able to go a little bit faster. There's not going to be as much to do with it, right? Especially like in some areas like this. It's kind of just at the very edge here, so of her face here. You'll notice that there isn't really much pores or anything like that kind of really specifically marked, but she does have a shadow right coming right off the edge of her face. So that's all we're just going to kind of give it, is just really nice and close to the edge. Go in, lay a nice shadow. Bam. Nothing too crazy, just kind of all the way up, right? I'm gonna kind of go back and where we started, right? We started on the lip, so we're working our way around. And she kind of has a shadow that comes in here on the lips and then kind of goes out. And then there's some of that texture here. And this is probably some of the area, like if I really wanted to get in close here and do a lot of that detail, mixing in some of the gray here, if you look closely here on her skin, like right underneath this area, underneath her mouth, if you look closely on your phone, right, if you zoom in, you'll notice that there's a lot of like a lot of grayer tone kind of skin. And so if you wanted to, again, push this even farther, you really could. I'm just going to keep this semi-advanced. And I don't want to I also don't want to be here for 20 hours. Just work our way around. simple. I can go ahead and take this off now that we've kind of done that whole edge. And you'll get a pretty good look at that whole mouth area. Looks really good. Right? We kind of still have to lay a black tone, you know, a nice black shadow down here that'll really kind of accent everything. But we're going to go ahead and start by layering it in with this detail flesh tone and building in our black or our shadow. Right, so we have a nice spot to lay our black into. Again, just a little bit of texture around, connected all the way to the hand. We got a little bit of clearer skin in this area. There's not as much going on here. Make it up to the freckles over here. Now the freckles, you might actually have to color them in just a little bit, like you actually have to like circle them in and color them in, kind of like I have to keep moving this camera. I wish this camera just automatically tracked the tip of my airbrush. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? What's up, James? How's it going? So you might actually have to like color it in, right? So you kind of have to circle it in like so, and some of them are like different odd shapes. It's not just a circle, right? It's like a, you know, like a cow but miniature. It's just random odd spots. They're not all circles or nothing like that. But using the detail flesh tone on this particular painting, you could use it to build those freckles right up, right? So wherever you see, you go ahead and kind of start layering those in. Now, I personally think freckles are cool, so that's kind of why I also picked this painting. Not everybody has freckles. And it's kind of like curly hair, right? Those people that have it, hate it. And those people that don't have it, want it. It don't make no sense. It's like me, right? I have curly hair. And I wish I could have long hair. Like, I wish I could. Like, I like having long hair. It sounds like awesome to me. But gosh darn it, if my hair wasn't so goddamn hard to take care of when it's long. Like, I can't just let my hair chill, like hang or anything like that. You finished up some cup? What's cup? So yeah, we're just kind of working our way. The freckles, you can see that there. I'm also going to work in our shadow. If you look right here halfway through the hand, there's a heavier shadow that kind of comes out and blends into those freckles right there. Alright, so we've got to make sure we layer in that shadow right there. Around, bring it up, and bring it down. This one There's a few stray freckles kind of just off on here on their own. Should get some of that randomness in there. But you do want to kind of leave some of that universal flesh tone, right? We're letting kind of some of that shine through here. We're not trying to completely cover it or nothing like that. And if you look on the painting, her face does kind of have this area where it's just, it's not flat, but it doesn't have much going on. There's kind of this and this right here where it's not, that's just kind of how it is on the painting, on the picture, I mean. So that's kind of the way we have to portray it. Is there's nothing we could do about that. Unless you want it to really go off on your own tangent, on your own artwork, you really could. But so I'm moving up here to the top of the hand, and we're going to connect the shading to the eye. So I'm going to start off by hitting all the shadows all the way around over here on the fingers, right? Just hit that in. Then we're going to start by hitting the edge. And again, just working it right up to the corner of the eye here. You'll notice that it connects and kind of comes down like in a half moon kind of motion here. Alright, then we got some texture kind of connecting this area there. Bam. Then we have a nice shadow right underneath her eye. Nothing too crazy, just a nice little soft shadow. Then we're going to do the top of the eye, and again just a nice soft shadow going out. And if you look closely again on the eye, we got a shadow kind of coming up off the corner going towards the tip of the finger here, right? And then we have a shadow here right off the finger that kind of shoots in towards the middle of the eye. But it doesn't actually connect. And the same thing with this one. It doesn't actually connect towards the tip of the finger. It just shoots off. Right, so we kind of have this little indentation right here. And now we just hit that in with a little bit of shading. And then if you look closer yet, you'll notice there's some texture up in there. And so we're going to lay that little sideways hatching kind of going in there. Couple of freckles right here. There's like, again, a few strays kind of going off on their own. Get some of those in there. So there's also some really nice skin texture stencils out there. So if you have some of those, working those around and in those areas, if they match up, right? If you happen to have a skin texture stencil that matches up there, I know there's certain manufacturers that make nice laser cut stencils. You can work that all up in there. Just kind of working in some super fine, nice little details here. Maybe we need to move you guys around. Kind of moving in towards the inside of the eye over here. Right? And up here at the top, notice right here, there's a nice little crease that comes down. And a shadow that comes around. And again, here in this area, you could even see that her makeup's like, it's not very well applied. I don't really know what to call that. It's like gunked up. I don't know. I'm not sure what the proper word is for that. But it doesn't look very smooth. It looks like there's like, what do you call that? Like little, like balls of it. I don't know. But again, just layering in the texture. If you wanted to smooth it out, it's fine. But again, following the picture is going to give you a really good result. So that's all I'm going to do is just kind of keep following along. Kind of shade that in there. Give a our nose some connection there. Right. And then on the top of the eyeball here, we're going to start working our way around. Now she's wearing some kind of shiny, almost looks like lip gloss over her eye, because the top of her top eyelid is very, very shiny. So it's kind of all we're going to do is layer in this detailed flesh tone so we can come back and do the white highlights, which will really make it look popping. And then working our way up to our eyebrow, which we only marked off with a little bit of, with a good, nice cut. But if you really look underneath, like if you look close at this picture, you'll see that the hairs kind of make a shadow, right? Especially towards this back end over here where the light's not hitting so much. So we're going to kind of layer in that shadow, right? So on her eyebrow right here, right, you see how I have it marked off there where we had the eyebrow on there, and then I just sprayed around, then we removed it. So all I'm going to do is take this detail flesh tone and just start making in some preemptive shadows for when we layer in our black. And we're almost to the black, so it's a pretty good time now, since we're already using it and we're already here, to just kind of give us this little shadow, which is really what's happening on the skin underneath those eyebrows. So I'm just going to kind of do it really loosely here towards the front, but then as it goes towards the back, you really want it to be sharp. And again, if you just zoom in really close on this picture, you can really see that there's like some kind of blurred out texture over here, but there is texture going all the way up and around. A little bit of frecklage on the top, and I think we're good. So all I'm going to do is on this side is just layer in a little bit of shading right here, and you can see the preemptive start of some of the eyebrows on that side. And detail in the eye. There you go. Oh man, I gotta remember to move the camera after every stroke. It's like after every 2 movements, I gotta move the camera. Cool, so we got all that texture in there. Kind of just gonna hit this area a little bit over here. And darken in the neck. Right, so I'm just going to go ahead and just hit this whole neck with the detailed skin tone all the way around. Alright, so one thing I'm going to do now is we are going to do the eyes. And I mean the actual colored part of the eyes, which is, I believe, the iris. So we want to cut the eyes and only leave behind the parts right, so we're going to leave behind the white parts. What would be the white part of the eye, that's what we're going to leave. On both sides there. I'm just going to take a little bit of tape. Whoa. Almost forgot I had the microphone strapped to me. Alright, so we're going to take a little bit of tape and just make sure we hold those down real quick. Hold that one down. Hold that one down. Same thing on the other side. Right, so let's get this eye off of there. And we can just leave that white part of the eye. Boom. And we're going to use this detail flesh tone real quick to give us the color of the eye. So I'm going to use also my shield, and or you could use your, right, that's why we kind of kept this laying around, so you can use this. It makes filling in that eye nice and easy. Same thing on the other side. I'm just going to fill in those eyes. Nothing too crazy, just fill them all in. Good enough. Peel that off. And all I'm going to do is take one of these airbrushes. We're going to load a little bit of black up. I'm using Wicked Black since we're using the Wicked colors for this. I'm just going to mix up a little bit of Wicked Black. I'm going to do a little bit more reduced mixture, about a half and half mixture to reducer here. Again, using the 4011 reducer. Oh, cups, aka tumblers. Nice, nice, nice. Alright, so we have our black loaded up. Sprays out black. And I'm just going to put this back into place right here. We're going to hit the outer edge of those eyes. Just a quick little black. Hit that bottom. Just quickly, nothing too crazy. Same thing on this side. We're going to hit that edge and hit that bottom. Bam. Take our shield. We're going to cover, the top part of the eye there. And we're going to give the top a nice good shading going down. Bam. Nothing too crazy right there. Same thing on the other side. Just shade it down and around. Nothing too crazy. And I believe we can remove these pieces now. So try to get those off. Good enough. Oh, another piece. Apparently there was a piece stuck on there that wasn't supposed to be, but it's fine. And then we're going to stick our piece back on here with the nose and the nostrils, more importantly. Line that back up right there. Then we're just going to hit this edge here. Let me move you here. So we're going to hit this edge, right? That right and top edge here. And kind of the same thing here on this side. Just quick little shadow. Bam. Same thing on this side. Bam. Not too crazy, nothing like that. Just quick, fast. Remove it. And, oh man, our face starting to look like a face. And yeah, I think we're pretty much done with this. Well, wait, actually, before we get rid of it, let's use it real quick to shade the top part of the eye. So if you look again on your design, usually on most people's faces, that your, what are they called, eyelashes, make a shadow. So all we're going to do is just hit it really softly from the top with a nice little shadow. Boom. Same thing on the other side. Boom. Alright. Wow. It's looking good. I'll set that aside just in case we need it again, but I don't think we will. Then we can start cutting in with our black here on this particular part of the face. So I'm gonna start, let's start with this eye, just so you get this side over here out of the way, right? And so let's start with here at the bottom of the eye. And you can see the bottom of the eyelashes, and there's also a nice little wrinkle that comes in right here. Right there, just nice and dark. It's probably the shading. It comes in right there. So get that nice little wrinkle in there. And then we're going to get it really close and get our eyelashes in there. Just really tiny. And they're almost kind of just look all messed up in there because the makeup's kind of got them all clumped up and stuff. Right, nothing too crazy. Now on this side, you can't really see the eyelashes on the top. You just see the makeup line, you see the shadow. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring in first, there's a wrinkle here that kind of extends off to her eyelid, like so. And using our lines from our cutout, we're going to bring that in. We're going to make it look like there's some eyelashes there, but that's all you could see in the picture, so that's all we're going to paint. Nothing too crazy. I'm going to bring in my shield, right? And I can see that the shadow kind of goes around to the bottom of the eye, so I'm just going to bring in the shield there and just kind of hit it going down like that. Bam. Right, so now we got the roundness of the eye, and I also just kind of feel like I need to hit this edge over here to kind of get that in. Maybe darken in the pupil. Bam. Right, just kind of work it simple. Just, you don't have to be so crazy with it. Up here at the top on the eyebrow, right? Yeah, I can see just a few little traces of hair just barely coming in. So I'm going to do some kind of thick ones and then just some really nice thin ones. Just right there. I'm gonna shake up this black a little better. But I think that's pretty much it for that side of the eye there. For that eye on that side. And of course, you zoom out and get the whole effect. But then we'll move on to the other eye. I'm trying to get the whole eye so I don't have to keep messing with the camera. There you go. So I'm just going to start again around the tip of the eye here, at the front tip, left tip, and the center tip, I don't know. And you'll notice right here that there's a very first wrinkle just right at the front. Goes in like this. And that's kind of where the makeup is attached to right there. So we'll just bring the makeup line around. Now on this side, you'll see the eyelashes start becoming really noticeable about at the halfway, right above where the pupil is really. So that's kind of where we're going to start marking them in. That's where they start going above that makeup line. And towards the end of the eye, she's kind of wearing like fake eyelashes, so they're like super exaggerated. So again, just kind of bring them all the way up. Now bring in my shield. And again, right around the bottom of the eye here, there's a little bit of a shadow. But it's kind of like the bottom on the eye, but it's the bottom eyelid, right? We kind of differentiate that from the rest. And then we start adding our bottom eyelashes. She has a really light eyeliner here. Dry tip off. And then just lay in these eyelashes. Oh, come on. I don't have a rag. I need a rag. There you go. So all these little eyelashes gotta go in there. And they're just super tiny. There you go. Come on. They're not long at all. They're kind of almost, you know, can't even really tell they're there. I'm just going to go back and add an impression of eyelashes going around the other side, as well as a nice little indentation right here. See that little shadow there? Nothing too crazy on the eye there. Maybe you want to kind of blend in the edges a little bit like it is on the picture. Cool. So I think we got most of the eye in there. I'm just going to bring a little bit of a shadow off of the eye here going this way. And a little bit on the bottom here on this side. Just a little bit. A little bit. See that? Just a tiny bit. That's it. Just like you see it in the picture. Then we're going to hit in her eyebrows. Alright, so we laid in the shadows earlier. Now we're just going to kind of really lightly, really finely lay in line by line, hair by hair. Now luckily for this picture, she has black eyebrows and black hair. Now there's people that don't have black eyebrows, that have maybe blonde eyebrows, or brown eyebrows, or what have you. And in those particular cases, you're gonna have fun because you gotta really kind of hit a layer of brown, a layer of blonde. Gotta maybe give them shadows. So this is one of the easy cases. There's just a little piece of paint that doesn't want to come out and keeps working its way up to the nozzle and just getting stuck. But we get the eyebrows all up in there. bam. Nothing too crazy. Hit a little shadow off the tip of the finger connecting to the eyebrow right there. And then we're going to go all the way down the edge of this hand here, down to about halfway in the cheek. Just hit that little edge there. And then we're going to skip, maybe like go down to maybe the edge of the lips here, right? So if you look on the left side of the screen, right over here, and we're going to connect that again. And now down here, we can do her chin and color in her chin and neck. And just bring that shadow extended off of right here, right on her hand, and kind of bring it and connect it up to this corner over here, right? Then we're just gonna shade that going down. And just lightly build it up, right? Don't just hit it black right away. Lightly build it up. Use a nice soft line and just kind of layer it in softly. And even extend that shadow just a little bit beyond. Right, you see this little circle, just kind of a little bit beyond. And that's it. We're gonna hit underneath the mouth. I don't have the mouth covered or nothing, but I'm just gonna hit right underneath that mouth a little bit, right underneath those lips. If you look at your reference photo, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's just a little bit of a shadow right there. Simple. We're gonna kind of hit over a top tone here on the cheek. So right over the, what I would call peachy tones and skin tones and stuff. I'm just gonna kind of layer in a black half moon here, and then I'm gonna bring it and half moon it up to the other side, just like that. Little half moon there, kind of shade it in. And that's why we missed that spot, because we're shading that little spot with these half moons that we're doing right now. Simple. Now this particular area right here in the nose, right, everybody's gonna want to go heavy with the black right away. I would recommend you just kind of build it up. And I would recommend you do it freehand. Just a little bit, right? Bring it over towards the nose right here, towards the center of the nose. And then bring it back towards the eye. Nothing too heavy. You don't have to do anything crazy. Just kind of lay a nice overtone over all of them skin tones. Going to kind of give you that nice indentation of the nose. We're going to use that also under here, connecting the nostrils. Right, just a nice half moon there, and also a nice shadow going up. And over here on the very left side of that nostril, just a little bit. Bam. Nothing too crazy. Worked our way through that. And now we're just going to kind of detail in the nostrils. So there's a little bit of a line here, a shadow, and doing this freehand really kind of brings out a little bit of that detail, that softness of the skin. You don't want everything to be so sharp. So just kind of go around. Bam. And right away already right there, that looks really good. And if you've made it this far, I'm proud of you, for one, because it means you've had patience to really kind of work on something for an extended period of time. So I congratulate you on that. But that already looks really good, right? We haven't really even finished yet, but it looks good. So moving on, we're going to finish up with the hand. And this shouldn't take us too long. It's only a few colors. and we'll be completely done. We'll be able to unmask it and really get the full effect. You know, once we take off this tape and everything, we'll be able to check it out really nice. So first off, with the finger that's in the back, on this one the other finger fell off. I'm not going to worry about that too much. Actually, before I remove any of those fingers, actually, I'm just going to come in with the black and I'm going to hit around the fingers here. Maybe even bring in some fresh new strokes of hair, because that's what that is right at the top. It's just her hair. Right. Then we're going to cut out this back finger here on this side. Bam. And this piece over here, we're also going to cut this out. Fold it over. Kablam. Then we're going to start with our universal flesh tone. Make sure this is shaken up. Make sure there's some left in here. Oh yeah, there's. So we have a fingernail, right? We're going to cut out that fingernail. We kind of want that fingernail right in place. Right there. Stay right there. Don't move, fingernail. Yeah, right, huh? If it was only that easy, if I could just talk to the stencil. Stay right there, stencil. Don't move. So I'm going to use this piece of tape to actually hold that and that down. Right there. Coming first in with the universal flesh tone now. Again, saying it again. I'm just going to lightly build this up. And if this finger's a little bit blurred, if the fingers are actually a little bit blurred, I will actually let it slide, because it'll give it a good look. It'll make it look like depth of field, right? Like the finger will look blurred out, the face will look nice and crystal clear. But all I'm doing is kind of just focusing in on that tip of the finger right over here. Remove our fingernail, or actually leave that. Leave it for now. Make sure you actually hit this side of the finger as well. I'm just going to kind of darken it in real quick. And then we're going to come in with our detail flesh tone. Before you remove that fingernail, come in with the detail flesh tone. And just hit the nice edge right there on that. Now you can remove it. Now take it off. Get out of here. Don't need you anymore. Don't need you in my life. You're negative. You're toxic. So yeah, now we got that. I'm just gonna give the fingernail a good little shade with this. Universal flesh tone, nothing too crazy right there. If you really wanted to mix in a little bit of pink with the universal flesh tone right there, I wouldn't even blame you. It'd probably look really good. So again, I'm just putting a little piece of tape here, gonna tape that off. Gonna cut out the fingernail. Almost getting ahead of myself, really, actually. So cut off that fingernail, but before we move on, use that detail flesh tone on the other finger here, and then come in with some black. So that I'm just going to lay a quick little black shadow up here on the top, going off that way. And then over here on this side, I'm going to lay a nice heavier shadow all the way up. Not too crazy, but it is darker on that side. Now we're going to leave our fingernail behind and take off the hand. And starting up here with the fingernail, we're going to start with our universal flesh tone again. And we're going to kind of focus the right hand side of the finger, starting with the nail. And like I said, I'm going to do a little bit of detail here, but I'm almost going to kind of make it look blurry almost. Because again, we're going for like a little bit of depth of field here. And again, make sure we lay in some texture, even if it's blurry. Just bring that down. Simple. Take the detail flesh tone and just kind of reinforce that, back that up a little bit. Coming off the right edge. And take our fingernail off now. Of course, it takes a little bit of board with it. Shade that in. Get our little knuckle shaded in right here. And yeah, bring in the rest of the hand, bring in the troops. And I'm using the detail flesh tone to, in a shadow form, right, to really kind of give this a little bit more of a tone. But then I'm going to come back and I'm going to lay the universal flesh tone over that as a way of kind of color blending and giving our hand some, making it look kind of round, you know, just giving it some shape. There you go. Pretty simple. Worked through all of that. And now, my favorite part, the white highlights. Alright, so we got that all in there good. Make sure it's focused. Good. Take some wicked white. In this case, I'm going to take wicked black first, actually, and just lay a little bit of a shadow here on the finger. Almost forgot to lay the black in there, because there's a shadow here on her finger. Not too crazy, a little shadow on the knuckle maybe, and some shadow hand. Cool. Now, just to keep this hand kind of blurred, I'm going to lay a blur highlight here, right at the edge. Bring it all the way up to the tip of her finger, and then the tip of her fingernail right there. Bam. A little highlight on the fingernail, and a little bit of highlight on the finger there. But nothing really close. As you can see, it's just highlighted from far away. And then we're going to move on to this way. So the brightest highlights I probably see are like right here on her ridge of this, and maybe her chin. There's highlights, you know, kind of in certain areas, but the ones I see that are the brightest are the ones right here, like her eyebrow connecting to the bridge here, the nose, and then her chin up here has a really bright spot. There's a bright spot on her nose, and right here underneath her nose, and a little bit on her cheek, but I'm going to start by focusing in this bright spot. And the reason I start in the brightest spot is because we're going to kind of work this little, you know, highlight in here. And again, I'm going to kind of texturize it and stuff. but we're gonna kind of work our way back so that once we got the good, we kind of got everything highlighted, we could come back and this will be dry and we'll be able to hit it a second time and even highlight it some more if it's necessary. Highlight this area right here in the eye. Bam. The other eye. And the white, if you could just lay it in nice and slow, you could get some really bright highlights there. Nothing crazy. Highlight the nose. Right there. And there's some highlights right under the nose right here that are really going to define the shape of the nose. So be real careful how you layer these in. Make sure you're paying close attention to your reference picture. Make sure to look back every few seconds and kind of make sure you're working in the right area, in the right direction. And you can see that I got it in there pretty good. A little bit of a highlight here on the very, very, very crest of the nostril. You know, right where the turn, the apex of the nostril, the inside turn, you know, the inside curve there. Bam. Hit that. And then we'll move on to her chin. Kind of more of a general highlight here on her chin. Gonna get that in there. A little bit of highlights here on her cheek. Not really much. A lot of it is kind of skin colored. But just kind of hit a little bit of them in there. Right. We got that all highlighted in. I'm just going to go back. I see these areas need to be a little bit brighter. Just lay another layer of highlights. And kind of bring out the final highlight spots. You know, the brightest spots, bring those out. Bam. See, after we did this, we moved over here, so I'm just going back in the same order, right, so that those areas are nice and dry, and we can kind of hit them again real quick. Bam. If you see a little highlights on the eyes, now would be the time to hit them. Got a little circular highlight right there. Got a little wetness highlight at the bottom of the eye. Right there. Boom. Boom. There you go. Now you can take all day highlighting it, making it look beautiful. I really hope you do. And blacken this spot over here. Then I'm just going to bring in some hairs. Bam. There you go. Let's get it unmasked and get you guys a good look at it. See if we can unmask it without tearing it all up. I don't think this paper likes having tape stuck on it for extended periods of time. Can't even say I would either. Yeah, that's not gonna look good when I take it off. Now I know. Probably use blue tape on this next time. Ugh. Oh, that's rough. Hold on. get it off of there first. Oh man, this poor paper. That's all I'm gonna say is this poor paper. There you go, there you go. I believe, oh no. You know, this tape's been on here for a week, so can't even blame it for kind of sticking on the paper so good. But I believe we could get it off. Where there's a will, there's a way, man. You can get it off if you really want to. See? Bam. That edge, that white edge just makes it look so good. Come on. Come on. Just nice and easy. Yeah. Yeah. Get off of there. Oh, yeah. All right. Okay, last but not least, let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go. The secret's just pulling it off at an angle so it kind of doesn't have a chance to just lift up. There you go. There you go. Oh well. Anyway, there you go. Getting you guys a good look at it. Let's see here. Multicam. Right, so let's get one up close and one not so up close. Let's try to focus it too. There you go. Look at that. Details. Skin, freckles, face. Oh yeah, that was an exercise in patience for sure. One, I had to wait a whole week to finish it, which I really hate doing. But two, you know, there's a lot of work actually gone into this. And if I get you guys in close, you know, obviously you guys seen it all kind of happen in real time. So it looks really good. I'm really happy with it. Hopefully you guys, hopefully this video helps you guys, you know, get some nice results. Let's see if we could get this. All right. Let's see if we can get you guys the money shot. Nice focused in, beautiful looking. There you go. That's pretty square. And there you go. There it's focused. So it looks pretty good. We were able to kind of match the reference pretty good. I don't know if the colors actually match. I don't know what it looks like on stream, but what I see here in person looks pretty good. Thank you, Adam. How's it going? Thank you. Yeah. Anyway, oh man, my back hurts even. Anyway, hopefully that helps you guys out. You know, it's about 3 hours. We did about an hour and a half last time around, and we're doing about an hour and a half this time around. So it's all about 3 hours of work into this painting. And yeah. Hopefully you guys can get it down in that much time. If it takes you a little bit longer, I totally understand. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. As always, thank you guys for watching. I hope this video helps you in your airbrush endeavors. As always, if it helps, if you feel like you like it, please consider becoming a member of the Skull Squad by clicking that join button. Or if you want to order some airbrush supplies, using the links in the video description also helps the channel bring you more videos, you know, whether it be more detailed, more in depth, or you just want to see something specific. You know, once you're a member of the Skull Squad, I take your suggestions a little bit more serious. Well, you know what, we forgot to do the highlights on the eye, on the top eyelid, to make sure you hit your highlights on that. Put all that little skin textures in there. I'm not sure this camera actually gets it pretty good from far away, but there you get a really good look. So yeah, make sure you use those links down in the description. As always, big shout out to Createx for providing the paint for today's video. Big shout out to all the Skull Squad members. So Justice, James, Adam, that showed up in the chat, but also for all those that can't catch live, who are either just busy with life or busy painting themselves. I appreciate all of you and all the support. Again, all that stuff just helps bring you more videos. I know I'm kind of becoming a broken record, but once I don't have to say it, I won't say it. You know what I'm saying? But right now, the guy's still broke. So, yeah. As always, I appreciate all the support. I appreciate everything. Thank you for watching. Good luck to you guys in your airbrush painting. And we'll see you guys again next week with another how to airbrush video. Have a good one, guys. Later.